viaje seguro, permanezcan sentados, con las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y vigilen a los niños. Gracias.
All clear. All right, everybody, welcome aboard the tour. Things are always changing here in the backlot, so we should keep an eye out for some new scenes from the western scenery of the Lone Ranger, as well as costumes from Oz the Great and Powerful and Maleficent. Enjoy the rest of your tour.
Guys, these are the trucks they have from...
Hello everyone, my name's Don and welcome aboard. We're heading into the backlot of Disney's Hollywood Studios. This production area was built in 1988 as a Florida counterpart to the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California. We included sound stages, recording studios, high-tech editing rooms, all the tools needed to create movies, TV shows, and radio broadcasts. We've even got our very own water tower too. It's up ahead on the left side of our shuttle. We call it the Earful Tower. It's inspired by the water tower Walt Disney had built for his Burbank studio in 1939. Our Florida tower stands a lucky 13 stories high, and we added our own creative touch, a giant set of Mickey Mouse ears. If you wanted to wear those ears, you'd have to have a hat size of 342 3/8. Up ahead, after the next bend in the road, you'll have a perfect opportunity to take a picture of this famous icon. In the world of entertainment, every project starts with a screenplay and a lot of creative ideas. A production studio is where the ideas of writers, producers, and directors are transformed into an on-screen reality. Within these huge spaces, filmmakers can literally create their own worlds. Our Florida sound stages are soundproof, weatherproof, and most importantly, air-conditioned. All vitally important for the cast, crew, and equipment. Many of the crafts needed for filmmaking are located right here on the lot. On the left, we have our own greens department. It grows flowers, trees, shrubs, and topiaries. A few well-placed plants can cover up empty spots in the set and add a touch of natural beauty to a scene. On the right are two of the aircraft from the 2001 blockbuster hit Pearl Harbor. These exact full-scale replicas of P-40 fighters were used in the special effect fight sequences. Of course, many of the planes you saw flying through the aerial battles or sitting on the ground weren't real at all. They were created entirely within a computer. Oh, keep your cameras focused to the right. We're coming up on that perfect angle of the Earful Tower I told you about. It's a true masterpiece. We're entering one of our most glamorous and colorful departments, creative costuming. Every star has to have just the right wardrobe, and it all begins here with a designer's sketch. Our team of designers, seamstresses, and tailors can turn 1.5 million yards of fabric into over 25,000 costumes every year. Many of these costumes will become part of the shows and attractions of the Walt Disney World Resort. In fact, here in Florida, we have the largest working wardrobe department in the world. Why, Mickey Mouse alone has over 175 different outfits to choose from, while Minnie Mouse keeps more than 200 unique costumes in her wardrobe. On the left are costumes worn by the stars in recent studio productions. You'll probably recognize some of those costumes from the big screen. Every story needs a setting, and our design staff can create just about any place a script calls for, from an urban city street to a remote desert canyon. On the left is our scenic shop where large-scale sets and props are built. Our team of set designers, carpenters, artists, and engineers has created caves and caverns, game show sets, even replicas of the U.S. Supreme Court and NASA's Mission Control, all on our sound stages. The shop also provides sets and props for our shows and parades here at Walt Disney World. The same skill and craftsmanship that goes into a movie set can also be used to create magic for our parks. Either way, it's all about making dreams come true.
This is the holding quarters from Lone Ranger.
Now we're entering a zone we call the Boneyard. It's an outdoor storage area for oversized props and vehicles. Cars, trucks, boats, planes, we often save these props in case we need them for future productions. In this backlot collection, you may find real working vehicles, non-working mock-ups, and even large-scale miniatures used in special effects shots. Large-scale models create a more convincing illusion on camera.
All right, folks, we're going to be pausing here just for a moment while one of our sister shuttles clears the ride path. So you do have a great photo opportunity here. We have some of our oversized props in the Boneyard to your left. If there's any that you don't recognize, I'll identify them for you from back to front. All the way in the back of the shuttle there, the large yellow steamroller is from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The small yellow car toward the center of the shuttle is from When in Rome. And Herbie the Love Bug, everybody knows number 53 from Herbie Fully Loaded. Next is a charging station from the Surrogate. That green lawnmower is from a deleted sequence from the movie G-Force. And then up here by the front of the shuttle, we have a Land Rover from Mission to Mars. Well, looks like that other shuttle's coming up right beside us. So once again, just do remain seated for your safety, and we will be on the way as soon as they clear.
Maybe I missed that part. I'm not sure. What's that car from?
G-Force. We're now passing by the sets for our Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show. On the left, you may catch a glimpse of the Mediterranean fishing village that sets the stage for this thrilling attraction. We'll get a closer look at it soon, but for now, we're approaching one of the largest standing sets on our back lot. It's over on the right. It may not look like much from this angle, but it's pretty spectacular on the other side.
Indiana Jones?
We'll find out.
It's a Mickey Mouse plane.
That was Walt Disney's plane when they were deciding on where to build Disney World. Right here. Gulfstream.
This is great, folks. The production crew has just given us clearance to enter the set.
Hello, Backlot Tour. I'm Amy, the production coordinator here at the studios. I can see your shuttle heading toward our canyon set. I've given your driver permission to come in and take a look around. I'm up here with our effects crew, and we're getting ready to shoot a test sequence. Oh, on the way in, you're going to be crossing a wooden bridge, and things may get a little bumpy, so please, hold on to your belongings, especially hats, cameras, and glasses, and keep an eye on any small children in your car. And of course, please remain seated at all times. Welcome to the set. As you can see, we brought the bare, dry deserts of Southern California to green, typically humid Central Florida. This set is based on real locations that our production designer took pictures of. Our set crew spent about 6 months building the canyon, but we've used it for a number of TV shows and specials over the years. For our upcoming production, the script called for a tanker truck. We found this one in our boneyard, but it was too big to drive into place. So we picked it up with a crane and set it down here. We're up on the overhead platforms, and I see our director has arrived. As soon as the rain effect is ready, we'll begin the sequence.
Rain, huh?
This sudden shower is really just a special effect. We've rigged up a series of water nozzles just above your tram.
Cool.
The water sprays in a crisscross pattern to create a sense of depth. But this storm only covers the first few feet of the set.
At the beginning, England, Texas.
Okay, it's showtime. Everybody stay seated. Hang on to your belongings and watch your children. tons of it, dumped from overhead tanks.
Ladies
Oh,
and
but don't
gentlemen,
worry,
for your safety, we do need everybody seated.
We'll be
If you have any
pumped right
children
back
at your
up.
party, make sure they are seated either on the bench or on your lap, please.
Through air cannons for an extra dynamic effect.
Folks, once again, we do need all children seated.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need all children seated. There is a young man about 4 cars back in a striped shirt there. We do need you seated either on a lap or a bench. Thank you very much. We're clear, driver.
Hey, wizard.
This is the back side of it.
Hey, two wizards.
All right, continue back to what our narrator
wizards.
is telling you. The small yellow pipes here we use
Wizards.
Oh, lizard.
for all of our fire effects, and these large
This is the back side of it.
pipes we use to pump water all the way up to 3 overhead dump tanks that we use for our flash floods. We also use air cannons. The air cannons that we use year-round effect are strong enough to launch a basketball over the top of the Empire State Building when at full power. The entire sequence takes about 3.5 minutes to reset, which is just enough time for our next shuttle. Unless you're on the next corner or automated there, you'll pick back up.
Hi everybody, I'm Bob Ganaway, director of the new Disney Toon Studios animated feature, Planes, Fire and Rescue. Looks like the historic aircraft on the right is getting into the spirit of our new film. It would fit right in with Dusty Cropper, Dipper, and all their high-flying friends from Piston Peak National Park. You know, that plane was known at airports across the country as November 234 Mickey Mouse, or the Mouse for short. Back in the early 1960s, Walt Disney himself used this plane to scout locations for what he referred to as the Florida Project. His team purchased many acres of land here in Central Florida, but they kept the Disney connection a well-guarded secret. Eventually, the secret was out, and the Walt Disney World Resort became a reality. Enjoy the rest of your tour, and I hope you enjoy Planes, Fire and Rescue.
On our right, we once again sweep past the magnificent Mediterranean village of our Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show. This high-octane attraction is based on the hit show from the Walt Disney Studios Park in France. In this action-packed production, you'll feel like you're right there on the set during the filming of a spy thriller, complete with custom-built cars, motorcycles, even jet skis. You'll experience the split-second timing, coordinated driving, and fiery special effects that make action movies a real blast. The staging area to our right is known as Acceleration Alley. Here, the custom-built stunt show vehicles rev their engines up to 70 miles an hour before making their high-speed entrances onto the stage for our Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show. Of course, these are professional stunt drivers. We hope you'll enjoy their daring driving skills, but please, don't try them yourself. On the left, we've reached our second boneyard with more historic props and vehicles. When we reuse older props in a new production, they're often refitted with custom parts and given a whole new color scheme. You might not even recognize them the next time you see them on screen. For instance, coming up is our friend Herbie the Love Bug. He went through a special demolition derby makeover. Those dents and dings were added on purpose, but he can be polished up as good as new for his next starring role. On our right, we now have a very different view of the fishing village set. From this point of view, you can see that there is no inside in the buildings. They are just false fronts or facades. In the movie business, set builders only create what the camera has to see. It's an old movie trick dating all the way back to the silent era. To add to the sense of realism and avoid the cost of set building, many of today's television shows and movies film on location in cities and towns across the U.S. But out in the real world, you've got to contend with noise, traffic, crowds, and various visual elements that may or may not belong in your film. Here on the Backlot, we can avoid these problems because we created our very own flexible urban environments. Our Streets of America facades can stand in for a small town or a giant metropolis. As we come around the last corner on our route, you'll see the skyline of New York City in the distance. It's really a series of painted flats, expertly designed to fool the eye and the camera. We can dress and decorate these streets to look like any city we want, from Chicago to San Francisco. Depending on the choice of vehicles, props, and costumes, we can even turn back the clock and set our story in a different time. And what's more, these sets are built with Florida weather in mind. They're made to withstand 100-mile-an-hour winds. You're welcome to visit our Streets of America anytime during your visit today and get an up-close look at the skills of our set designers and builders. We've just about reached the end of our tour. Our final stop is the American Film Institute Showcase, where you can see the actual costumes and movie props used in some of Hollywood's most famous films. There are some pretty amazing items in there, so feel free to take all the time you like. Please stay seated until our tram comes to a complete stop and check around you for any personal items that may have fallen during our trip. Well, as they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining our Backlot tour, and we hope you'll come back to visit us again soon.
All right, welcome back, everyone. All right, for your safety, if you would remain seated until the shuttle has come to a complete stop, and also if you would just wait for the doors to open all the way up before exiting the shuttle. Now, there is just one exit from this part of the attraction, which is toward the front of the shuttle, through those large sliding glass doors into the American Film Institute Showcase. All right, here come those doors once again, so you're free to open all the way up. Now, they are still seating for the 120 show of Lights, Motors, Action. If you are headed over there, just make your way through the doors by